Grab a cup of coffee and start your Sunday with Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life features stories to inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Every Sunday morning at 9 on the Talk of New York, AM 970, The Apple. Visit cyacyl.com.
Good morning, this is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Have you ever dreamt about starting your own business, but then have let fear or 1,000,001 excuses keep you from getting started? Today's guest, Mike Michalowicz, is here to tell you why now is the time to take action to make your dream a reality. Mike started his first business at age 24. With limited resources and no experience, he created a multi-million-dollar technology business. Then he did it again and again. Mike's experience building 3 multi-million-dollar companies fostered a philosophy rarely taught to entrepreneurs. The lack of money, experience, and resources is your greatest asset. Mike is a small business columnist for the Wall Street Journal and a segment host on MSNBC. Mike lectures on entrepreneurship and is the author of The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me here.
Mike, you were recently the keynote speaker at a business conference that I attended, and you gave us so much valuable information. I mean, I walked away and I immediately implemented the things that you spoke about. But before we get to that, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your background. Age 24, college graduate. Most people are out there trying to get that first job, but not you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what made you start your own business?
Okay, so I did have my first job, but it sucked. I was working at like a local computer store, and I was that greasy kid that if you came to the computer store looking to buy a computer, like I would be like, oh, you need a printer with that, because if you bought my printer, I'd get like a $5 commission.
Right.
And one night I went out for drinks with another guy that worked in the shop, and we're like, God, it sucks working here because, we're working so hard and I know so much about computers, and the owner of the shop, he doesn't know anything compared to me. It's all my sweat and all my intelligence. So throw a couple beers into me, and all of a sudden liquid courage kicked in, and I said, I'm going to start my own business because I'm smarter. I know how to work harder. I'm more disciplined, and I'll be a millionaire like he is. So it was actually that night with quite a few brews in me that I resigned. I quit, and the next morning started a competing business.
So you didn't regret that movement the next morning?
Oh, no, I did. Oh,
okay.
I was terrified.
Right.
Like, so the little bonus to my story, I was already married at 24 and had a son, and still have a same wife and same son.
Okay.
And when I came home the next morning, or that night, I'm like, I'm starting a business, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, I have no idea how to go about this. But it was too late. I already left a voicemail for my former boss telling him I quit and he's a jerk and he better watch out because I'm coming to get him. And the next morning I started, and it was pure fear that drove me for years with that business because I just had to make it work. I just didn't know how.
Well, you had no choice. You had already laid down the gauntlet. You had to succeed.
That's exactly right. And ironically, it's your ally for a period of time. You can't always run in fear, but fear gets you up at 6 a.m. in the morning and working till 6 or 10 o'clock at night, no problem. It keeps you going. And for me, the first couple of years, if I wasn't afraid of failure, I would have never made it. And so it helped me, at least for then.
So what was it that made you successful with that? What type of strategies did you employ, not knowing anything?
Yeah, so throw everything against the wall and see what sticks is the initial strategy. I was calling people. I was literally going door to door, knocking on doors, and see what happened, what I could get. And inevitably, I knocked on enough doors and approached enough people that someone said, "Yeah, I'll use you, kid. Do my computers, service them." And what I started doing is asking for referrals and so forth. And slowly I was getting clients. It just took a tremendous amount of effort. The aha moment for me was one day when I sat down and said, I'm not going to knock on another single door because it wasn't really that productive. Instead, I was going to go to my existing clients and not ask for referrals because I noticed they wouldn't give referrals. You go to an existing client, say, would you refer someone? They say, yeah, because they feel pity upon you, but they give you a bad referral because they don't want to dilute your availability to them. They don't want you giving secrets that you've gained while working for them and give it to someone else. But I did find that my clients would refer other vendors, other people just like me that they also liked. So I started asking my clients for other vendors. They introduced me to other vendors, and those vendors turned me on to other clients. And I built this very strong network of similar complementary vendors, and then my business took off.
When you you've also said that having no money or experience can be a benefit, and obviously it was for you in this case. So how can that benefit the rest of us?
Yeah, so money, I believe, is like the amplifier of habits. In the extreme case, like the people that have horrible addictions, like drug addictions and so forth, if you give them money, it just amplifies that habit. Well, the same thing is with any component of our lives. When we have money, we just do what we're doing, but more of it. So at that point, I didn't have like the understanding of how a business really operates. I wasn't that attuned to how to do things. And if I got money at that point, I would have just gone down this wrong path. And by the way, when you get money, it's usually other people's money, the bank's money, a lender's money. It's really easy to spend other people's money.
Right.
So it was, with the lack of money, it forced me to accomplish the same things my competition was doing, but I had to do it innovatively.
Right.
They were advertising, and I couldn't afford it, so I had to find ways to do it. They were getting employees doing this great work for them, and I didn't have any money, so I had to find ways of doing it. And I did for all of those things.
And what's great about that is because most people say, oh, I can't advertise and I can't do this, and they use it as a crutch or an excuse.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying it's time to think outside the box.
Totally. I got a doozy of a trick for you if you want for advertising. So this is what I came across. Is I noticed my competition had advertising at the time in Yellow Pages, but also on websites, in those web directories, on signs on their buildings and billboards out on the highway. And what I noticed was I collected the phone numbers for all of my competitors, and I started dialing the numbers. And sure enough, most of them would answer, and I'd say, oh, wrong number, and hang up. But in a few circumstances, the business had gone out of business. The number was disconnected. The advertisement was still up there. The billboard was paid for a year and the Yellow Pages for a year. So then I called the phone company and had those numbers redirected to me. And my phone started ringing instantly because there was customers, obviously, that needed this service, saw the advertisement, called, and they weren't being serviced. So I took them on. I told them, I said, hey, the company you're calling no longer exists. They went out of business, but we've taken their number over and we're providing the exact same service. So if we can help you, we'd love to. And we started getting clients right away for no cost.
Mike,
little cost.
I'm not even sure what to say right now. That was so brilliant.
Yeah. I always lead with that one because that is a good one.
I'm actually speechless. But you came up with the concept of the toilet paper entrepreneur. And I read the book. I recommend that anyone who wants to start a business or has a business read this book. It's written from the heart, and the information provided is incredible. But anyway, where on earth did you come up with the concept of a toilet paper entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, ironically, I used a toilet paper entrepreneur strategy to come up with the title of the toilet paper entrepreneur. I was writing the book, and two things I discovered. One was that I looked at all the established incumbent books that existed, and I noticed that they were all academic reads. So I said, for me to lead and stand out, I got to have a book that's written differently. So I wrote a real raw, real me. And the second thing I said, I need to have a title that stands out and catches people's attention, but is also mnemonic, meaning it has a visual that you can, every time you see something, you'll think of me. Well, I was doing a lecture at a local college at Fairleigh Dickinson right here in New Jersey. I was speaking to a marketing class. I had called the professor and said, hey, I need some marketing help and would just love to come in and tell you what I'm doing about my book. And I said, come on in. I lectured to the class and I just started telling stories, all different stories. And one of the stories I told was about the bathroom experience, of how sometimes you get stuck with 3 sheets of paper and you still have to navigate that situation. And I said, that's how entrepreneurship is. You usually get stuck very short-handed, no money. You got to figure out your way out. And this student, his name was Matt, stands up and goes, you're the toilet paper entrepreneur. Just blurts out in class. I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. So I write it down. I went back to that class and other classes I'd visited about 6 months later. And I didn't say anything. I just came in and said, what do you remember about me? And the only thing everyone remembered was, you're the toilet paper guy. You're the toilet paper entrepreneur. And I said, that's it. Yeah. That's the title of the book. It's unforgettable, or unforgettable, right? That's not the word.
But the concept that you use when you're talking about the 3 pieces of toilet paper, it's so true. If we had the entire roll, we would waste it. We would not have to think outside the box. We would be able to use as many sheets as necessary to get the job done.
Right.
And it's brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very happy about it.
And you know what, Mike? I think on that note, we're going to let our listeners think about that image.
Let's do it.
We'll break for this week's Healthy Living Tips. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Dr. Brian Glatt of Premier Plastic Surgery Center of New Jersey, located in Morristown. So much plastic surgery information stresses the importance of making sure your physician is board certified. You can look at someone's practice website, check when you call an office, or ask the staff or surgeon this important question. This is all great advice, but are you board certified is only half of the question. What really needs to be asked is, are you a board certified plastic surgeon? Board-certified dermatologists perform eyelid surgeries. Board-certified internists perform breast augmentations. Board-certified gynecologists give Botox and injectable fillers, some with as little as only 1 day of training. These physicians may be wonderful in their respective fields, and they may all be board-certified. They are not, however, board-certified plastic surgeons. Good plastic surgery can alter one's life, whether it be a cosmetic procedure to change or improve an area of concern, or a reconstructive surgery to recreate a lost or traumatized body part. Don't just trust that your doctor has adequate training. Make sure that they do. To become a board-certified plastic surgeon involves years of specialized training. Plastic surgery involves many choices, the most important of which is selecting your surgeon. I believe in evaluating the needs of each person as an individual and invest a great deal of time developing a specific treatment plan for each and every patient to achieve the desired results. Call me, Dr. Brian Glatt, at 973-889-9300 to schedule an appointment to discuss your plastic surgery goals. Or check me out on the web at www.drbrianglatt.com. And yes, I am a board-certified plastic surgeon.
Change your attitude, change your life, and big, believe, inspire, grow. Salute the entrepreneurial spirit of small business owners, people who follow a dream, work hard, and make it happen. This week's spotlight is on optimistic expectations. Do you want to create the future of your dreams? Do you need to manage stress? Are you feeling disconnected? There is support available. Optimistic Expectations is a social service consulting company that is committed to the personal development of individuals. Optimistic Expectations offers a variety of workshops and training programs to help you meet the challenges of everyday life. Parent workshops help you interact with your children in the most effective way possible. Youth workshops assist youth with their transition through life. Staff training classes offer professional assistance to nonprofit and/or social service organizations. Call today for more information, 201-341-1782, or visit optimisticexpectations.org. Optimistic Expectations, helping those who help themselves.
Health insurance costs have risen at an alarming rate. At the same time, coverage choices have narrowed. Supplemental insurance provides an employer with the opportunity to enhance its current health plan without adding cost or administration. From accidents to catastrophic illness to intensive care to unexpected death, VMN Benefits has the plan to meet your needs. Call VMN Benefits at 201-697-0203 to learn more about supplemental insurance. VMN Benefits, providing peace of mind for your employees.
Cetus Home Care Services is a non-medical home care company that assists you in caring for your loved one. Their trained caregivers provide the peace of mind that is important to you. Whether at home, in a nursing home, or an assisted living community, Cetus will help your loved one live a dignified, independent lifestyle. Cetus Home Care Services and professionals are as diversified as their clients. Call Cetus for more information, 973-746-0165, or visit cetushomecare.com.
Are you looking for a cost-effective way to promote your product or service? Put the creative minds at Maximilian Communications to work for you. Maximilian Communications is a full-service multimedia communications company. From press releases to ad campaigns to publishing to audio-visual productions, Maximilian Communications does it all. Maximilian Communications provides small to medium-sized companies with a big marketing presence, often with just a shoestring budget. Let Maximilian Communications' team of creative experts put the pieces together for your business success. Public relations, advertising, marketing, publishing, audio-video production, special event coordination. Put the creative minds of Maximilian Communications to work for you. Call 973-641-6339. That's 973-641-6339.
Some people prefer traditional funeral services. Others prefer cremation. Some want an elaborate ceremony. Others don't want any ceremony at all. Visit Funeral Homes offer all types of services because we know there are all types of people. That's why we specialize in personalized funeral services. To meet the needs of each and every family, call Bishop Quinlan Funeral Homes of Clifton at 973-546-2000 and Bishop Parker Funeral Home of Little Falls at 973-256-4700 for ideas and information on how to plan a service as individual as you are.
Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life now has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox. Each month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide the information that you need to inspire and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. As philosopher Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. Use the wisdom provided in the publication and apply it to your everyday life. Visit cyacyl.com for more information or to begin your free subscription. That's cyacyl.com. Welcome back to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman, and our guest today is Mike Michalowicz, business expert and author of The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. Mike, before break, we left our listeners with a pretty visual image of you.
Horrible.
But anyway, what I'd like to do is get into some tangible strategies that people can employ to make their business a success. As I said, I've heard you speak, and you just, you really, I believe, are the king of thinking outside the box. So anything
Thank
that
you.
we can do to help people that are starting out or just, really needing to take that business to the next level economically, because that's a key. Maybe you can just share a few strategies with us.
Yeah, I have one strategy I love to share. I think this is the most important. I think most of us have been trained, if you will, on business plans. You have to have a business plan. You got to detail out all these things about your business. Well, I say forget it. A business plan, the second you print that darn thing, it's stale. And especially in today's environment, things change so quickly. Competition is springing up or going out of business. The economic climate is unpredictable, but it's probably not going to be good. So you have to adjust. So I suggest what's called a tacking strategy. And tacking is a word used in sailing terms. And what tacking is when you have a sailboat and you want to go from point A to point B, you don't go in a straight line. Well, that may be the shortest distance. You can't navigate in a straight line because you have to catch the different directions of the winds. And you have to avoid the obstacles in the way, other boats or land masses, and you have to use and leverage the tides. So these sailors use a strategy called tacking. And what they do is they go very short distances, maybe 200 or 300 yards toward that point B they're trying to get to, and they move directly toward it as directly toward it as possible, but leverage the wind and leverage and avoid the obstacles. Then after that 300 yards or so, they stop, realign with that destination they're looking to go to, and push forward another 300 yards. Stop, realign, and it makes a zigzag pattern, but they hit that destination every single time. So in business, you can do the exact same strategy. I suggest have a vision. Maybe that is kind of a part of your business plan, but 5 to 10 years from now, if everything came true, where do you want to be? That's the island you're headed to. Then move in 90-day increments. So for the next 3 months, what's the most you can do based upon the economy, based upon a new trend that your clients are looking into, based upon the fact that maybe your biggest competitor went out of business? What can you grab from that? And for the next 90 days, push as much toward that destination that you're going, where you're going. Then after 90 days, stop, realign, push ahead, because the variables, the winds of the economy will change. All the variables will change. And if you do this tacking, this zigzag back and forth, you hit your destination every time.
And going along with that, people get so fixated on this, they're heading toward point A,
Right.
and they miss so much going on around them. They miss so many opportunities because they're looking here, and somebody says, well, maybe you need to speak to John Smith. Well, talking to John Smith in this area is not part of my plan, but you don't know what doors John Smith can open up for you.
Yeah. You ever hear the thing called the reticular activating system? Okay, this is cool. This is part of our brain stem. This is from Biology 101 back in college. The one thing I learned before I started drinking. But the reticular activating system is part of our brain stem that focuses in on the most relevant and important things in our lives. And the perfect example, and maybe you've heard this before, when you buy a new car, the day before you buy your new blue Toyota, you don't notice how many are on the road. The second you pull off into the highway with a brand new car, it's like, what the heck just happened? Did everyone run to the Toyota dealer and buy the blue one? You start noticing it everywhere. And that's our reticular activating system. In our brain, it's become now something of absolute significance, so it starts popping out of the scenes around us. We see it everywhere. Well, with the tacking strategy, it's similar to the car purchasing experience. You identify the 3 or 4 big things you need to do in the next 90 days, and you put such focus and such importance into it, of a sense of ownership into those 3 or 4 things you're working on. It starts popping out of the scene all around you, and you can just grab it.
As I said, I just believe that you're so brilliant in thinking outside the box, and you've come up with a lot of creative ways that people can meet their needs in areas such as getting staffing for free or finding an office place. I mean, one of the things I think today people don't realize with all the home businesses, when you say, you're working out of your office, people automatically picture this great corporate headquarters.
Sure.
Little do they know it's usually Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts now.
Yeah.
But, you have come up with ways that people can find inexpensive or even free office space, or so maybe you can just share some of these great tips with us.
Sure. So right now, I'll just give you a hint of what's going on with me. I'm in 2,000 square feet of office space, but office space. But the bonus is it's in a cookie factory, or at least it's connected to it. And how that came about was the owner of this cookie factory, it's a huge cookie factory, they have all the office space. They compete against Nabisco, to give you a hint of their size. And we were on a call one day, and I said, yeah, I'm looking for space, but I also have a large inventory of books and other products and stuff. I need warehouse space. He's like, I actually have space here. And we started talking about it, and I said, I'll give you some coaching and some direction on some ideas on marketing, because that's kind of like where I like to focus, and give you innovative ways of doing the cookie marketing if you give me the space that you're not using anyway. He says, yeah, move on in. So I got free rent, by free electric, free internet, free cleaning. They actually are renovating the space anyway, so it's grade B+ space. It's good space. It's still connected to the factory in the back end. And I get free cookies home.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, I'm actually sick of cookies. I cannot eat anymore. But
you're sitting here speaking, and the only thing going through my mind is, are you getting
They
free
are
cookies?
freaking good. They're good. The toffee ones are to die for. But I've had enough cookies now. So it's just simply being aware that these opportunities exist all around the place. And free really means an exchange. You don't want to take advantage of other people, so you want to barter. When it came to free staffing or free professional support, we all need attorneys, accountants. That's freaking expensive stuff, especially when you're starting out. So the technique I use for that is I'll approach a local college. I love colleges. They're tremendous resources. Ask for the legal department or the accounting department and ask to meet with the professors. I go to the professors and say, in exchange for being a case study for your class, I'll come in. Your students can do their accounting on my actual business, or they can do the legal services for my business. They can write all the contracts and stuff. They can, in exchange for that, they can put in the resume that they did it for me. It's a real life case study. And the professor doesn't have to work as much because I'm the one kind of teaching half the class, telling what my business is like. It's a win-win because now I'm getting legal documents. By the way, the professor reviews them to make sure they're legal accuracy. I'm getting accounting services done. The professor reviews it, makes sure of its accuracy. They're getting experience and exposure. It's a total win-win.
If our listeners walk away with anything from this interview, they need to walk away with creative thinking, thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to success.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out, how do you inspire creative thinking? So I may have it. I've been working on this one for the last month or two. It's just whenever we observe anything. We're in a studio right now. We're recording. We're looking at microphones, headsets. The question we need to ask ourselves every single time is, how can that be done better? No matter what you see. I was, this past winter, it was so freaking cold. I saw a father with his son, and his son wiped his nose on his sleeve of his shirt, and the father said, you can't do that. And then the father wiped his nose on the sleeve of his own shirt. I was like, well, how can that be done better? Why doesn't someone invent tissues that wrap around your wrist? Now, that's a stupid idea. Maybe it already exists. But by constantly asking that question, it just forces innovative thinking.
For someone who has an idea, they have no money, they have no resources, what is the first step that someone needs to do to get a business off the ground?
Yeah, so if you have absolutely nothing, you have you, that tells me you got to start a service-based business. Don't try to invent a product. Don't try to manufacture something, because now you have to pay for the raw materials. But if it's just you can start a service business. You can start a cleaning. You decide what you want to start. But I'm saying you can start a cleaning service. I could come to this building, solicit the receptionist at the front, and maybe she'll or he'll make the decision, and just borrow the cleaning materials that are inside the space. It costs nothing. It's just my time. So when you have nothing, recognize you have something very important, yourself. That's a lot of working power. It's a lot of force, a lot of muscle, and a lot of intelligence, and you just got to leverage that component.
Mike, where can our listeners go to get more information about you and your work?
So check out toiletpaperentrepreneur.com. Give your best attempt to spell that on Google, and you'll find it. And then if you want to get the book, Amazon.com has the best deal going on. You can get a used copy for a penny nowadays, so no excuse not to get it.
Our guest today is Mike Michalowicz, author of The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. If you'd like more information about Mike, you can visit his website, toiletpaperentrepreneur.com, or as always, you can visit our website, which is cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on our website, listen to past shows as podcasts, read our digital magazine, and sign up for our mailing list. Mike, in 30 seconds or less, what do you want our listeners to walk away with from this interview?
Inevitably, it's action. So I always hear these great ideas and these great thoughts, and I want to ponder more of it, and then I don't do anything. It becomes the manana syndrome. So whatever you heard today, the one thing that resonated with you most, just start doing it. Take advantage of it. It will serve you well.
And use your 3 toilet paper, your 3 sheets of toilet
Yeah,
paper.
think of me when you're in that situation too.
I couldn't even get the words out. Mike, thanks so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
We are definitely going to get you to come back here
Oh,
again.
I'd love to.
This is Joan Herman, and this is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Thanks for tuning in.